they were going to do this with that investment and I was going to get that. I mean, I never did it to think I'd make much money, but it was another way of saving. We come back to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the upshot was I managed to get the money back 6 months later, having had been deluged with phone calls. Actually, that went on for 2 or 3 years. People phoning, oh, there's still some money on your Bitcoin account. We can do this for you. And I got to the point where I just blocked these calls because it was
Mm,
becoming a real pain.
mm,
So that was not a great example for me of what that is about. Whether or not it will become more mainstream, I don't know. I don't know. And of course, it's sometimes difficult to understand because although largely it's kind of a hypothetical means of currency, there are also such things as Bitcoin as one example of cryptocurrency. There are, and some people actually possess this. So it will be a currency to sit alongside the more traditional currencies.
mm.
But yeah, I don't think I would be investing in Bitcoin, but that's not, again, it's not financial advice to anybody else. If someone
Yeah.
thinks give it a go, they should do it.
Yeah.
But don't come to me for advice because my own limited experience of that was not great. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean it doesn't work for some people. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, not something I would now get involved in.
No, no. I've never been involved in Bitcoin. I do have a Bitcoin wallet, but I've never used it. It's empty.
Ah, good for you.
Yeah, I don't know how I got it, but it's empty. So I check it. Sometimes they send me an email saying, "Oh, policy changes and blah blah blah." So I'll read through it, and I think, nah,
Mm.
I want to be able to see my money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely right. Yeah.
yeah. So, what is success? Oh, all right, sorry. What is a successful man to you? What is a successful man to Trevor Gear? When they say this man is a successful man, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, that's a very good question. What is a successful man? I suppose our society, or many societies, base success, the word success, on material possession. Somebody who's achieved a lot in business, perhaps. They become very wealthy. I think societies would tend to say that that is a successful person, successful man, successful woman by what
Mm,
they've achieved.
mm,
And interestingly, a buddy of mine the other day, we were talking about, we had lunch, and he said, "Oh, a friend of his who he knows from playing table tennis. They play table tennis once a week, and he said we couldn't play Friday on Friday because they closed the hall or something like that for the week." He said,
mm,
"So this guy invited me back, along with a couple of the others, to his house in
mm,
well, fairly close by." And he said, "Wow," he said, "it was fabulous." He said, the size of it wasn't a garden; it was more like an orchard, a field, and he did a barbecue for us, and some Ukrainian people came along, who it turns out is a Ukrainian mother, and I think two boys, her children,
mm,
and they came, and it turns out that they'd stayed with this family, this guy,
mm,
I think for a year or two, 18 months maybe, when the Ukrainians came over, and they were so grateful they're now living somewhere themselves, and they
mm,
come back occasionally for the barbecues and things. So, and actually, my pal said, "Yeah, he's obviously been very successful."
mm.
And I said, "Yeah, it certainly sounds like it." And that was kind of the end of that conversation. But that was kind of the end of that conversation. But in response to your question, yeah, at one level, somebody who makes a lot of money, who's run a good business,
Mm,
is successful. I mean, there's nothing wrong to say someone who's made money is a success. But for me, I also like the fact that this man, allied to his clearly his material success,
Hmm.
was successful in another way by actually, good for him. He obviously had the space. It was a big house, taking in people in what for them was a very difficult situation. So I don't know. I think on balance, who knows what success is, but I think it has to do with doing your bit, trying to make a bit of a difference positively for people, recognizing that individually we're probably very limited in what we can really do for other people, but maybe it's an attitude thing. And
Mm.
I suppose I've read things like he or she can consider themselves as a success if they have loved much and have been loved back.
Mm.
And maybe that's all we can say, isn't it? We just need to try and, if we can help somebody, great,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, oh, true. Yeah, that's a very in-depth way that you treated that. Well done. Now, what football club does Trevor Gear support?
Well, as you know, it's Crystal Palace, and it's a good time to be a Crystal Palace fan. Um, as you know, and others will know, if they follow football, Palace won the FA Cup, which was the first time we've ever won a big trophy, one of the big trophies. And even now, people circulate the videos of the moment of somebody sent me one yesterday, funnily enough, of at the final whistle at Wembley. Now, my own crowd, the crowd of us, were making videos of that moment and of the build up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, my granddaughter Lucy, she was filming, and she's not an avid football fan. She's just home from, and she came to the cup final back in May, but she's home from uni for the summer. So she came to Wembley as well a couple of weeks ago for the Community Shield. But she took a video of at the final whistle and of the reaction of everybody around. She stood on her chair, and that video in the first 2 or 3 days got over 20,000 views.
Wow.
And to this day, she's being asked to let people have a copy of that video. Somebody sent me one yesterday, and I said at the time, I have never been in a situation where so many men. I mean, there's plenty of women and youngsters there as well,
Yeah.
and it was them too. But I've never seen so many men crying. It was just the most amazing moment. And this video someone sent me yesterday was focused. It started on the ref who blew his whistle, and you see the players sort of almost collapsing on the floor in
Yeah.
disbelief and joy, and them filming onto the Palace fans. It was so emotionally moving, and I can remember. I make no apology for saying there were tears going down my face, and all of our crowd, we were all in this. Everyone in the crowd, you look around and people were hugging you if you were near them, but the tears. And if someone had said beforehand to the crowd, to individuals, or said to me, "How do you think you'll react at the final whistle if you win?" I'd have
Mm.
said, "Well, I'd be so happy." But the pouring of emotion, almost uncontrollable emotion. I suppose we don't get too many times in life where that emotion pours out of us when you can't control it. And it was just a joyous, not just a moment. I mean, it went on for days, really, but it was incredible. And of course, because they won the FA Cup, we then played Liverpool, who won the league, in the Community Shield. And amazingly, Palace beat them as well a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago. So we won another a big trophy for that.
Yeah.
So, as I say, it's a great time to be a Palace fan, and we will be in Europe, albeit not the Europa League that we hoped, but we're still in the conference. And our first game actually is tomorrow at Selhurst Park against the Norwegian side,
All
and I
right.
shall be there. And that's the first time Palace have ever been in European competition since it was formed. I think Palace were formed in 1905. So, yeah, a long time ago. But
Mm,
yeah, it's a great time.
yeah.
We think we're about to lose one or two of the good players, but that can happen as long as we try and replace them. But yeah, that's my football team.
Yeah. Well, I've still got a lot of questions, but this is it's all we got time for. I
Thank
suppose,
you for the
I
question.
suppose, yeah, I suppose knowing you would take more than 40 minutes. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
this is all we've got time for. Join us again next week for another interesting topic. I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me Cos. He calls me
And I'm
Prof.
Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv.
It's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Yeah, man. It'll probably take a day to know you.
Yeah.
A day and a half.
You still